This is a presentation on French New Wave. So today we're going to be talking about the origins of French New Wave from the film journal Cahiers du Cinéma. We're going to be talking about the traits of French New Wave. We're going to be examining some of the famous films of French New Wave, including the trio of movies Breathless, Hiroshima Mon Amour, and The 400 Blows, as well as talking about famous directors Jean-Luc Godard and Francois Truffaut, as well as others. So some context for French New Wave was there was a rise in consumption and leisure after the war in France. Young people began to read film journals, and the main film journal of the time was Cahiers du Cinéma. This film journal, in addition to many others, helped inspire the film movement French New Wave. French New Wave was a rise against the traditional French cinema of the time. It was refreshing, it was new, and it was exciting. Some more context was there was a law called Advance on Receipts, which helped finance first features after somebody would see the script and would approve for the advance on receipts. The image of young directors making personal films different to the traditional cinema of the time was very popular in this post-war period of France. The auteur theory was the director's personal vision of the world as expressed in every aspect of the film, and French New Wave grasped onto this theory and used it very clearly in the movement. Subsidy for quality helped new directors make short films, and the government gave money for these directors to go out and make these films to help boost French cinema. The trailer for the movie you're watching right now, Hiroshima Mon Amour, was one of the first French New Wave films to be made, and it's widely considered to have been the film that kicked off the movement. Some traits of French New Wave are films were generally inexpensive and short, with movable equipment, smaller named actors, and small crews. They were easier to export than big productions. A couple of the themes of the French New Wave at the time were authority was bad, and political and romantic ideals cannot be trusted. And they also mixed tones, and the way they filmed it was not always a linear structure, not always linear time structure. Hiroshima Mon Amour, which we've already seen a clip from, is famed for using a non-linear time structure as they go back in the past to tell stories. The film that we're watching right now, Breathless, has the idea that romantic commitment is bad, as the woman the main character is in love with betrays him in the end. Some editing traits they used modern montage, reframing, discontinuity, and long takes in the films. The films were generally shot on location. They used natural sound and natural lighting to make it seem more realistic. They used handheld cameras, as well as modern soundtracks, and post-synchronized sound. They would improvise the plot and dialogue on set. They generally contained anti-authoritarian protagonists. They made mistakes, and they left the mistakes in the films. For example, you can see boom mics or the camera even in a mirror in French New Wave. They used reportage, which was a hidden camera, as well as they made use of jump cuts to show action in their films. As we can see in the fight scene of this film, Alphaville, jump cuts were very common in French New Wave. The protagonist is trying to take down the government in that area, so he's anti-authoritarian, just like French New Wave normally has, as well as we can see the handheld camera technique, the long take technique, and the shot on location, natural sound, natural lighting techniques in this clip. Some of the famous directors in the French New Wave movement are Alain Resnais, Jean-Luc Godard, Jacques Demy, Francois Truffaut, Eric Rohmer, Claude Chabrol, Jacques Rivette, and Agnès Varda. They contributed to such films as The 400 Blows in 1959, which was done by Francois Truffaut, Hiroshima Mon Amour in 1959 as well, done by Alain Resnais. In 1960, Jean-Luc Godard did Breathless. Francois Truffaut contributed Jules and Jim to the French New Wave movement in 1962. Agnès Varda contributed Cleo from 5 to 7 in 1962. In 1964, Jean-Luc Godard came out with Bande à part, and in 1965, Jean-Luc Godard came out with both Pierre Le Faux and Alphaville. Right now you're watching part of the trailer of The 400 Blows, which was one of the 3 biggest French New Wave films, along with Hiroshima Mon Amour and Breathless.